Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Rosalie here. It's been a little while, but today I want to talk about turning triggers into transformation. And this is, you know, such a important tool to have and knowledge to have in your pocket because throughout our day, throughout the moments in life, there's things that are going to come up that, you know, might seem undesirable and a little bit hard or difficult or, you know, whatever it might be. But every moment matters. And you could be using that as fuel, as a deepening into um, this greater version of yourself, right? And using that to transform your life from the inside out. So, this is how to use that, use this shadow work for your soul expansion. And, this pertains to all of us because we have those moments where, our heart might be racing. We might feel like that gut wrench feeling, or maybe you're feeling a little hot and triggered, right? But that moment is not the problem. The real power is in what you do with that situation. So, how can you take those so called triggers and discomforts and not just shut down or live from your old pattern programming? How can you take those as portals for deep transformation? Um, and use it as a way to expand your soul even further, expand the capacity to hold more and and broaden your awareness, right? So let's dig into it. So number one, define the trigger and reframe it. Um, when you are so-called triggered, or even if you get all the bodily sensations and feelings that we feel throughout the day through our emotions, tightness in the chest, trouble, shallow breathing, or maybe a dull ache in our forehead, whatever it might be, our body is always communicating to us what and kind of signaling to us what needs attention, what needs to be looked at, what is wanting to be moved through us, right? And the more we can tune into that and see that these so-called triggers or discomforts or undesirable feelings or circumstances are really activations for us to look at, because there's something that our nervous system is reacting to that it perceives as unsafe or uncomfortable. And these things often point to a part of us that hasn't been integrated fully into the whole being of who we are. It's a shadow, right? So something you've rejected or suppressed or learned to hide. Um, and we all have them. So instead of labeling these triggers as bad, we can reframe them and see them as portals, as messengers, as um, invitations for learning more about who we are. And, you know, how can we look at them in that way so that they serve us instead of limit us? Um, and a lot of the time they say something about who we are without us even realizing it. For example, if someone's success triggers you, there might be a part of you that wants that type of success, but you think it's not possible, or it's bad if you are that successful and you have that much money, because often what we judge in others is something that we are doing ourselves because our outwardly experience and including the people in it and what we're seeing and how we are reacting to that outwardly experience is reflecting back to us something internal that is going on. So, not everybody wants to hear that because especially if you're still rooted in very much your victim mentality, it's constantly pointing the finger saying, well, that's why I can't be successful, and that's why this happened, and then all the things. But when we can take full radical self responsibility and see our outwardly experience, including the people in it, and how we are perceiving them as a reflection, an internal reflection of who we are on the inside, we're able to transform that. Because again, the behavior we criticize in others is something we unconsciously do to ourselves. Um, and it's an opportunity, again, an opportunity, a portal, a point of power to deepen into this knowledge of who we are, right? And integrate that into the whole aspect of our being. Um, so when you can become the student and take this as a learning process, you will be so much more empowered by these so-called triggers, right? Again, so shadow work is this practice, right, of what I described, of bringing that unconscious aspect of who you are into the light, into your conscious awareness. Um, and it's about meeting the parts of yourself that you've abandoned, denied, or have been conditioned and taught to be ashamed of, to hide away, because it was either too much, you were too sensitive, or you were taught to conform to family expectations, societal expectations, workplace expectations, and how this process is how can you bring those back into this present moment and live from wholeness so that you're not hiding any aspect of who you are, and you can then begin to um, uncover who you really are beneath it all. Um, and this is a great quote I want to share. It says, we can't heal what we refuse to see, and we can't see what we're unwilling to face. So again, it's that self-responsibility piece where we have the responsibility to face our shadows, to really see them for what they are, and to really know what it is that they're trying to teach us so that we can heal on a deeper level. Um, and that includes when we judge people, right? Because they're reflecting something back to us that we either don't want to admit we have, or something that's been locked away. And the more that you can practice this, it just will blow your mind how impactful these breakthroughs can be in unlocking your next level of awareness and your next level, because the only thing that's really holding us back from improving and up-leveling is ourself, right? And if we are willing to seek, then we shall find, and um, be that continuous student and learner of yourself, um, and stay committed to your path, right? About learning who you truly are. Um, okay, let's see. So I have a step-by-step process that you can use to help you with this, um, to help you turn those triggers into transformation. And so step one is pause, feel in your body, and witness. So when that event comes up or that situation comes up that is triggering you, pause before reacting and take a deep breath and ground yourself into that present moment. You might have a very impulsive way of reacting, that you're used to reacting in a certain way to type of situation. But I invite you to slow down, take a deep breath to calm your body, root into this present moment, and ground yourself here in the now. And if it helps, close your eyes and tune in to your body as you continue deep breathing. So you're actively bringing your point of awareness to this present moment and feeling the ground beneath your feet to ground yourself, to tune into your body where the discomfort is occurring. Because it might be you're in an argument with someone, or maybe somebody sent you a message and it's triggering you, or an email and now you're fired up, whatever it might be. Slow down, tune into your body, and notice exactly where you feel the discomfort. So, for example, if I read an email and now I'm feeling so angry because of what it said, I'm going to take deep breaths, tune into my body, and feel where in my body am I feeling this discomfort after reading this email. And I might feel it as tightness in my chest, right? So then once you've located wherever the tension or the discomfort or the feeling is in your body, tune into it, locate it, tune into it, continue breathing. And then you can actively ask yourself, because our body is highly intelligent, you can ask it, what is it that you need? Or how are you feeling? I like to say, I just kind of, I've done this so much now where I'm constantly tuning into my body and asking it questions that I do it. I just have a conversation, right? But you can ask it things like, what are you feeling right now? And then some of them might be obvious, like I'm angry, but then other things might come up when you slow down and listen. Maybe a little bit of guilt comes up or sadness. And then just tune in and be open to receiving what your body is trying to tell you, what your body wants to tell you. And then from there, I might ask, I see you, and say, what do I need right now? What do you need right now? And then the answer will come up, right? And you could even ask, a question that I love to ask too is, how old do you think I am? How old do you think I am? And a lot of the time, just take what comes, what the first number is that comes, and it will be very illuminating to see, where did this type of feeling or instance or pattern or situation happen in my life that is now reoccurring, right? Because this is another great way to break those situational patterns that keep occurring because of something that's unprocessed and unhealed within us. And when we can get to the root of when this occurred, when the separation, when this, first started happening, it will um, help you piece together the knowledge of what it is that you need from this, right? Because, like for example, I did this even with my husband yesterday. He was struggling with something, and he told me where the discomfort in his body was coming from, and it was actually in the head. And I tuned into his forehead and I asked, how old do you think he is? And immediately the number came up, 8, 8. And I asked him, like, well, you know, based on the situation that you're upset about, what happened when you were 8 that connects to this? And it was very clear, very clear what happened when he was 8 that did connect to this present situation that he's experiencing, and why so many emotions were coming up. And that can be very healing, because you see that old past version of you that wants to be seen, that wants to be held, and um, loved, and seen, right? And you can then reassure your body and tell it, like, thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you. And remind it, I'm 36 now, or however old you are. I'm this year, this month, this many years old now. I understand that's how you felt then. And I want you to know. And then you can even ask, just, tune in. What is it that you need to hear or see or feel to know that it's okay? Everything is okay now, right? And give that to yourself. Say the words that you need to hear. Imagine the things that you need to have been done, whether it was a hug or a moment that you needed, and give that to yourself in this present moment, um, because that's really powerful. And that is what is going to integrate that old unhealed aspect of you into this whole version of you now. And giving yourself that younger self who maybe didn't get validation, didn't get support, didn't get the love that they needed, and give it to them now in this present moment. Um, okay, so yeah, step one is, I got a little ahead of myself, but step one was feel, become aware, slow down, and tune in, right? Tune into your body. Um, and witness what is coming up for you, right? And step two was get curious, right? And that's kind of leading into those questions, like ask yourself, tune into your body, honor what comes through, and make sure that it's not, don't judge yourself or be critical of yourself or for whatever comes up, right? And allow it to come through, right? Allow it to show you and bring this to your awareness of whatever it needs that needs to be seen. And accept accept all of it, because when we can release the judgment of ourselves, um and accept all parts of us, um then we can truly transform, right? But if we're constantly judging ourselves and being critical of ourselves, then we continue this cycle, this negative loop of blame, of victimness, of smallness. Whereas if you accept all that is, all the aspects of you, and empower yourself to choose the conscious version of you in the present moment, and how you're going to move from that knowing moving forward. Because step three is meet that knowing, meet whatever came through, and integrate it in alignment in your everyday actions in the now, right? So, for example, um, mm, you give yourself that assurance, right, from your younger self, and you say to that inner child, like, I see you, you're safe, you are loved, that, yes, that happened then, although this is now, and you don't have to carry this alone anymore. You don't have to go through that again. And now that you have the awareness of it, you complete it fully and integrate it into this moment and this world by taking that new level of conscious awareness and taking an action um, that's different from what you would have done in the past. So in that situation, or the example I gave of, say you got a really terrible email and someone was rude to you or at work or whatever it was, and you went through the steps, right? You tuned into your body, you felt where you were feeling the discomfort, you asked it for the guidance. It came up with, oh, this reminds me of, this time when I was this, and yada yada, all this stuff, right? And then you hold it in the present level awareness. You give yourself what you need in this moment to feel whole. And the final action would be then to, with that new level of conscious awareness, how am I going to respond back to this email? How am I going to respond back to this situation from this more conscious place instead of being impulsive and acting how I would always act from my conditioning and from my past experience or trauma of how I've always been acting up until this moment. Because now that you have the realization and you've gained this awareness, you can consciously choose your next step and decision, um, which, you know, ch- changes you from being a victim of your past circumstance to actively being a creator of your future and actively creating from this place that's new because you've acted like those ways all the way up until this present moment where you decided and became in tune with what is happening and what this is trying to tell you. You unlock the new, you unlocked that awareness, and now you can move in a different way. And in that way of moving, and that's more aligned with who you truly are, you expand your experience here on earth, right? You get a different outcome. Maybe something good comes of the situation. And the more you can do this in each and every moment, the more you will see your life change. And if you are someone who is struggling with um, the fact that maybe you're kind of fed up with why your life hasn't changed very much, even though you feel like you're trying so hard, this could be it, right? Because what's in our subconscious needs is running the show. And when we can actively practice this work, um, you this is rewriting that subconscious belief, right? Because you're becoming aware of it, you are accessing it, allowing it, you're integrating it into the whole, and you're replacing a different action, a new belief, um, to replace the old one. And so the next time you move, the next time you operate, it's gonna be different. You're gonna be different. And so you're gonna create a different outcome, and then you're gonna create a different life for yourself. And this is why this work is so powerful. So this is what I lead my clients through, and this is what, you know, if you hire a coach like me or a healer or someone who really can provide and help you with this transformation, this is really the process. And I love to teach this to my clients because you don't have to rely on a coach or a mentor or a healer to do it for you. And it's very powerful when you do that. And I still do that. I have mentors, I have coaches, and healers that I see because it's not always easy to just continually do it on yourself, especially for some, that's another conversation, but both work, right? And you also want to know how to do it for yourself because I also actively do this in my own life because, your mentor, your coaches and stuff, they're not going to be with you every single minute of the day. And kind of like what I teach my students too is while I am teaching you things, I am imparting wisdom on you, I am showing you how to do stuff. I want you to know how to do it too. I want you to be resourceful and know how to help yourself, empower yourself. And so just using this three-step process will change your life. It will change your life. And the more you practice it, the more you're going to realize and feel, wow, my body, my soul, my has been, my whole being has been trying to communicate with me, and it has been communicating with me for so long, for so long. And why did I never hear it or see it or feel it or know it? And, it's not to beat yourself up over, but it's also to realize like we are also just not taught these things. Even as a teacher myself, I teach my students this as well because all levels, all ages can learn this work to just be more in tune with ourselves and be more in tune with the wisdom that's coming through to us every moment, every day, and honor that, honor that knowing, honor that connection, honor that love that you have for yourself and for others, and it will radically change your life. Um, so again, look at your triggers not as punishments but as parts of you that you have forgotten, as parts of you that are wanting to be seen, and at the same time, offering those activations, those portals for expansion into who you are on a deeper level, and release the judgment of them and accept them for what they are, mirrors, mirrors for showing you yourself, and to deepen into that aspect of who you are. Um, but yeah, so if this resonated, let me know what did, how I can help, if you need assistance, and kind of maybe reflect now at the end of this video. Think of what's one trigger that you had recently where you either judge someone and you kind of felt very strongly about it, and kind of reframe that and think about that instance and think, okay, if I was judging them for this, what does that actually say about me? And where am I actually doing the same exact thing? Um, because it's always pointing back to us, right? And not just for things like that, but the more you do this work, it's also validating because when you see the world and the people in it and you perceive them like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by loving, kind, generous, supportive people, that's also mirroring back to you, oh my gosh, I must be embodied in that as well. So be aware and look around yourself and see what are you participating in, and allow that to guide you as to where you might need to put more attention and effort and work into to process through those emotions that have been stuck, right? And those shadows within you that are wanting to be illuminated into the wholeness of who you are. Um, and when your experience changes, when your connections change, when the people in your field and the experiences you have with them shift, also accept that and allow that to serve as your validation of the work that you have been doing within on yourself, because it just feels so good. um and I totally, you can go from being surrounded by people who, maybe don't mean the best for you and want to take all the time, and but none of that will change until you take full self responsibility for what you've created in your life. Um, and again, the more experiences you have that show how you're changing internally, will just feel so validating and good for you to know that what you're doing is working, and you'll feel it, you'll feel the shift um immediately. So it's almost like I'm hearing like, yeah, now it's like, um instead of wanting to avoid those situations of discomfort, it's almost like you're egging them on, like, "Yeah, bring it." I'm, like, excited to have those because I know on the other side of witnessing those and experiencing them and tuning into them is deeper awareness, deeper embodiment, deeper wisdom, um, and see them for what they really are. So again, I hope this helped. I will see you all next time on my next video. I love this topic. It's so much fun. And yeah, if you don't remember the steps, just write the steps down, 1, 2, 3. And I really encourage you to practice this and um, try it in just one instance, even something that's happened in the past. And then maybe the next time, try it in real time when something happens. Try slowing down and following the steps and see what comes up. And again, the more and more you strengthen this muscle and this practice, the more it will serve you and it will just become part of who you are. Um, so, yeah, that's all. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you all on my next video. Bye bye.